drop the anchor, leave me here. I don't deserve to move. For too long now I've fled.
Community development. This is a phrase often associated with stereotypical pictures of specific work roles, such as facilitators of self-help groups, community nurses, or project workers with homeless or at-risk young people, amongst others. And yes, these roles all contribute to and sit under the banner of community development. But it's a mistake to think that community development is work role only. It's also a mistake to suggest that community development is only of significance to those youth workers wanting to work on the fringes of society. Community development has a lot to offer those involved in youth work and youth ministry in a range of contexts, and it's definitely worth taking the time to understand the general principles and concepts.
Community development isn't what you do, it's how you do what you do. It's anything that you do that can help people develop a sense of community together.
How long till I sink and I am stranded here, waiting, hoping beyond hope.
I think three of the most important elements in community development are: one, a commitment to safe relationships; two, a commitment to accepting or respectful relationships; and three, a commitment to participatory relationships.
Can you hear me now? Please don't let me drown.
In the community development approach, you don't provide a program for people. You actually start with people and work with what they've got to develop a sense of community together with them.
Learn to sail the sea of faith with the hope of a distant shore. Dreaming of a land.
The soul of community is a sense of belonging. But the body of community is a set of reciprocal relationships that create a space in which people can feel like they belong, a place in which they can feel at home. That's what a healthy community is all about.
The reality of community exists around us in a variety of ways. You may have experience of traditional community through your family or culture, circumstantial community through your relationships with your neighbours, or incidental community, such as that formed in the wake of a disaster of some kind, and then there are a range of intentional communities.
Come, save me from my floating.
There are 5 stages in developing an intentional sense of community. The first is in articulating a vision of community. The second is in illustrating that vision in terms of stories that people can relate to. The third is demonstrating those storylines in our own lives. The fourth is in encouraging other people and inviting other people to be a part of that experiment in making our dreams come true. And the fifth is celebrating anything that anyone does to create a healthy sense of community in our locality. We live in the inner city and we live on the main street of our neighbourhood. We've intentionally sought to develop relationships with all the people on our street. Across the road there are lots of shops, and recently one of the shops had the window smashed. All the shopkeepers raced out and we all gathered around the young man who'd broken the window. People said, what are we going to do? Somebody said, let's call the cops. And somebody else said, no, we're a community, let's solve this ourselves. And somebody said, yeah, that's what we should do, hold him down and I'll break his legs. And we said, that's not exactly what we had in mind. And somebody else said, no, if we're really community, we'll tell this guy how upset we are and give him a hug. And that's what we did. Everybody told him how upset we were and gave him a hug. And as he began to cry, we began to talk about what we could do. And he said he was lonely, he was frustrated, didn't have anything to do. One shopkeeper offered him a job. My son-in-law, who's involved in the football team, offered him a place in the football team. And just recently, he went overseas to play in the Homeless World Cup. That's what happens in community. A lot of people who study community work get very excited about it as a way of working. And they're really into community in a big way. But we need to remember, as Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, those who love community destroy community. Only those who love people can really create community.